Welcome back to our Saudi series. In previous episodes, we've taken you on an exploration of Saudi's past, visiting some of the most prized archaeological and heritage sites at Al Ula. Then we discovered the power of tourism to open new opportunities, particularly for Saudi women. And now in this episode, we will look to Saudi's future. In the final episode, we will explore some fascinating, innovative projects that are key to Vision 2030. They combine Saudi Arabia's rich heritage with big ideas for the future of city life and tourism. I'm excited to speak with leaders, designers, and specialists who have played integral roles in imagining and spearheading these projects. First, we will head to Diriyah to speak to Jerry Inzerillio, CEO of the Diriyah Gate Development Authority. He's tasked with creating a city inspired by the past, but for the future. It will be a world-class gathering place. After speaking with him, Manal Al Qahtani, Design Associate Director of Diriyah, will take us into the model room and give us a sneak peek of the exciting plans for Diriyah. Then we'll round out these conversations by visiting At-Turaif, the city's historic district, to see the ancient mud brick structures that this cutting-edge city originated from. Finally, we'll end with a sneak peek at the other monumental projects underway in the kingdom.
Hi, Melissa.
Hello, Jerry.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Good to
It's
see you.
great to be here.
Nice to have you back in Saudi Arabia and at Diriyah.
I'm so excited to see what you've been doing.
Yeah.
Can you start by talking us through this project and why it's so important?
Yeah, well, welcome back. This that you see here is deceiving because this model represents 14 by 14 kilometers. So this is the city of Diriyah, which lies in the middle of the metropolis of Riyadh, which is the capital city of the G20 country, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But what's very interesting is that it all started here 300 years ago. This is the birthplace of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the house, the ancestral house of Al Saud, the family that's run it for 300 years, and the birthplace of the Arabian Peninsula in what we call a beautiful wadi, or some people call an oasis. So 300 years ago, 30,000 people settled in this mud village, this mud city, which became the capital of the first Saudi state. It is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And to get ready to welcome people from all over the world, 27 million tourists as part of 100 million tourists coming to the kingdom by 2030, we are building a 14-kilometer cultural heritage master plan that celebrates the identity of Saudi Arabia here in the middle of the mother city.
It's unbelievable. And can you explain what we're looking at with this particular section? Because this is the beginning of the heritage site, right?
Yes. So out of this $50 billion master plan, according to the Crown Prince's vision and that of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman, we're going to take the birthplace, the cultural heritage site, which is the At-Turaif, and here is a 1.5 kilometer walking cultural heritage city made in the same mud typology as 300 years ago, except it's a little bigger now. So to handle millions of people and to handle the 100,000 people that will live, work, pray, recreate, visit here, we have to make 180 million mud bricks that we're doing. Now this is interesting because it's on a rock shelf in the middle of Riyadh. So we had to drill through the rock to put the smart city infrastructure down because we just finished planting 6 million trees, bushes, Diriyah palm trees with all smart city technology. So we use drip irrigation. We recapture 24% of the water we irrigate. Now we're recycling the water for all environmental sustainability reasons. This is meant to be walkable. This is larger than Marrakesh. This is like a sienna or a fez. Very beautiful in the old Saudi typology, which will show what Saudi was, where Saudi is, and its very bright future. Then in what we call Diriyah 2, we will have the new cultural campus, including the new Ministry of Culture. We will have the new tech city. We will have the new media city. And we will have the new entertainment cities. So those three industries are going to be grounded in the Diriyah master plans. The new Kingdom of Saudi Arabia Contemporary Art Museum, the new Convention Center, the new Opera House, the new Performance Arena. This is to give everybody a great quality of life. And this park, this Wadi Hanifa Park, which will be completed by 2024, is 5 times the size of a Hyde Park in London or a Central Park in New York. This will be one of the largest urban parks in the world.
Amazing. And you mentioned there'll be hotels, restaurants, stores, university, mosques, cultural centers. This will draw not just Saudis, but people from all over the world.
All over the world. There's 38 hotels in the master plan new. Today is high end. The new Saudi Tourism Authority, Ministry of Tourism structure is that we will have something for everybody. 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. Today is higher end. It has 38 hotels. It has over 400 restaurants, large souks, no malls. This is all meant to walk and get lost and being part of a cultural city, like Siena, like Florence, like Fez, like Rabat, like Marrakesh. So, but what on top, what did it feel like 300 years ago? Below it, all smart city technology to make the experience very easy.
And you mentioned the smart city aspect. Can you talk a little bit about what's underneath that's making this a futuristic smart city?
Yes, the Crown Prince, a lot of people don't know this about him. He's a very strict environmentalist, and he's very strict on issues of sustainability because he believes that you have to preserve things for the future as much as you did in the past. Diriyah is a celebration of 300 years of history. But now to do this, when it comes to traffic, when it comes to sewerage, deliveries, fiber optics, electric, water, all of that was put underground, so you didn't have it above ground. This is meant to be walkable. By 2030, the cars here will be electric. This whole footprint of Diriyah, historic Diriyah, is to be net carbon zero in the years to come. So we put all the smart city technology underneath to preserve water, preserve energy, have new forms of energy. The kingdom is going to be driven by 2030 as the largest provider of wind power, solar power, hydrogen production, not just oil and gas.
It's amazing. So this project is really building a brand new city from scratch. And to do that, you did a lot of research. A lot of people were consulted on what is the best way to build a city of the future. If you had to sum up what some of that is, you and I have talked before about how the past has to inform the future, and this is really a Saudi identity project as well as something that is going to drive innovation for the next generation.
Yes, the principal thing is that you want to rejoice in the richness of the culture. This is not a new society. It's a 300-year-old society. So the way you dance, the way you cook, the way you sing, it's all here. And we want people to come to Saudi and feel it and to see it. However, quality of life is important. You want people to interact. You want them outdoors. You want them healthy. You want them exercising. You want them in cafes. You want them sharing. You want them socializing. You want them educated. You want them praying. You know, all the things that a fabric of society, the Crown Prince feels very important about. He calls that quality of life. So we're very, very conscious about parks and gathering places and universities and places of worship and places of work where now you have to think, what will a society need 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And especially that young people now, they want things dynamic. They want an urban energy, but they also want to know that they're in a beautiful natural environment. And that's why the Wadi is very important to the cultural master plan of Diriyah.
I find it so interesting because you talk a lot about the technology and the innovation, and yet at the foundation, it's about gathering. It's about connecting and community. And that is something that is so important to travel and to, as you said, quality of life.
Yeah, the Crown Prince knows that if you can embrace technology to improve and to contribute to the human experience, it's a good thing. The technology should not replace the human experience. It should complement the human experience. So, but you have to do them both, because you want to protect something that's rich in terms of its culture for the next 300 years. So can we use technology to do that? Can we use technology to improve the environment, air quality, quality of life? If the society is physically healthier, if they're happy, that's why we're doing a lot of entertainment now, because a happy society, a physically fit society, is a good society. Almost 2/3 of the Saudi population are under 35. The kingdom now is very positive, it's very optimistic. A lot of the Saudis are returning home, and they want a bright future, but they want it on different terms now. How do I protect my identity, my cultural heritage? How do I share? How are we in a position to welcome people? But we also want to do it in a sustainable way that makes life good 300 years from now. And you could say that's ambitious. Why shouldn't you be ambitious? So I applaud the Crown Prince for that dedication of using technology to share the collective humanity and not the other way around.
Fantastic. So can you take us to see a little bit more in detail with, I know you're head of design.
Yes, I'm going to introduce you to one of the great Saudi superstars. We have many. 85% of our staff are Saudi, 36 are Saudi women. 16% of those Saudi women are in management. So I'm going to introduce you to my dear colleague, Reem. She just won Designer of the Year in the entire Middle East, not just Saudi. And she represents all that's great about the young Saudi fired up. Not just men, not just women, all Saudis. Very positive. And she'll walk you through the bigger master plan.
Hi, good morning.
Hello, Reem.
Welcome.
Thank you
for
so
joining us.
much.
So Melissa, you've met. So I'm going to turn you over to someone that knows so much more about the master plan than I, and you're in very good hands.
Fantastic. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you.
Jerry.
Have a nice morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So welcome to Diriyah. This is the marketing suite of Diriyah Gate project, where we have several scaled models that showcase Diriyah Gate development, a 14-kilometer development that bridge Diriyah and the historical district that used to be the first capital of the first Saudi state, with Riyadh, the capital of the third Saudi state. A 14-kilometer development that is inspired by the Najdi cities and that aims to bring back to life what we used to have as traditional Najdi urban sustainable city.
Amazing. And can you explain how the UNESCO World Heritage Site at At-Turaif inspired the rest of the design of this project? Because it's a city from scratch, but rooted in the past.
True. So when we started first this project, we wanted to understand from At-Turaif the residential assets, how people used to live there, and how was it formed and built from mud. And that formed the benchmark that helped us to learn the building techniques and the urban development and the urban fabric that was projected to Diriyah Gate 1. And not only to Diriyah Gate 1, we took this exercise to create a traditional Najdi architecture, but with a combination of the best of the old with the best of the new. And we wanted to create a smooth transition as we go towards Riyadh. So Diriyah Gate project can be divided into two. Diriyah Gate, which is traditional, and then a semi-traditional, or what we call an evolved Najdi. And that is what will Najdi look like if it was evolving through the past 300 years and not abandoned. So in DG2, we're celebrating a new architectural and urban form that have the aesthetics of Najdi with the requirements of the Balkar scale of our modern cities.
Wow. And so DG1 will be pedestrian only. It will have lots of hotels and restaurants and shops. And DG2, you will have more of the cultural, the universities, and more, even more residences?
Yes. So throughout the development, we have almost 18,000 residential units. So in DG1 alone, we have a 1,600 residential unit that aims to accommodate 6,000 residents. We have 26 museums and cultural educational assets. We have 28 hotels, hospitality assets, and more than 1,200 retail, lifestyle F&B units.
Wow. And how did you, as a designer, become involved in this project? You grew up in Riyadh.
Yes, so I grew up in Riyadh and I was always inspired by cities, houses, livings and building. I came from a very diverse family of engineers, technologists, doctors and lawyers, but I was always attached to building, fabrics, connecting people to the environment that they're in and the quality of life. And growing up, I was also inspired about how building can actually narrate stories and speak. And in 2015, I've started my master's degree research about buildings and how historical buildings can communicate and narrate the stories. And in 2015, when I first walked up into that UNESCO site of At-Turaif, I've started to understand that buildings have voices and it can speak to us. And from there, my aim and goal was to make sure that those stories and narratives are communicated to public and future generations.
And so then you actually were hired to work for Diriyah after your master's, I assume.
So
how did that come about?
Once I finished my master's degree and I went back to Riyadh, a couple of years later, someone called saying, Reem, there is a royal decree to establish the Diriyah Gate Development Authority. And it was for me a dream come true, as that was my master's degree, and now I have this opportunity to actually bring that dream and thesis into life and reality with a way bigger scale.
That's amazing. And is there a part of the project that you have as a favorite element?
Well, all of the project is so special and I'm so attached to it, but maybe the best part of it for me is Wadi Hanifa, because it's the bounding element that bound the UNESCO site with DG1 and DG2, and it's also this nice public park that's almost 2.6 kilometers square that brings together the natural of the Wadi and oasis with the city of Diriyah Gate.
And if you had to try to summarize your hopes for Diriyah and what it will do, what would you say that is?
So we have a lot of hopes and dreams, but I can say and I can summarize it in one goal, which is I really hope through this development that we really tell the story and the real cultural and history of Saudi Arabia.
And do you think that Diriyah itself is going to, in some ways, change the way Saudis think of their history and culture?
Absolutely. So going back into the principles of those urban cities, we found out that we used to have stronger societies because of those cities that used to combine people through its organic form. And from there, walkable cities, humanized cities, used to celebrate very nice cultural values. And we're aiming through this project to bring this back to life and not only create a physical form of Najdi buildings and city, but extend the nice experience that people used to have in those cities.
I'm excited to visit.
Well, absolutely. It's going to be opening very soon. And I would like to invite you to At-Turaif, where you're going to see my fabulous friend Manal. And she's going to take you through a tour in the UNESCO site, where I hope that you're going to hear and understand the emotions that I've felt the first time I've walked to the city.
Thank you so much, Reem.
Thank you so much for visiting us. Thank you.
Hello, Hayakallah, and welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here with you.
I'm very excited to see you here today and to be your tour guide in this amazing site.
Fantastic. Will you tell me why this is so important?
Because this area, it's the jewelry of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It's our beginning since before 400 years ago. You will discover our history, you will discover our culture, our heritage, our also tradition. So I'm sure you will enjoy with us.
Fantastic. And it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, correct?
Yes, it's registered in 2010.
But it's not yet open to the public.
No, still, but we will open it as soon as possible.
But it's ready.
It's ready, yeah. But just we have some the areas that we have some projects in Bujari. It's another side. We have like a great project for it to represent our history, our heritage in different ways.
Okay, and so this building that we're walking through now was once a city, no? With 30,000 people living in it?
It's around actually 6,000 people who lived inside this district.
Wow.
Yes. it's around 6,000. It's in between, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is the palace. This is actually the ruling center before 300 years ago. And in this palace, it's around covering space around 10,000 square meter. And it's ruling center actually in that time for the kings and the imams who lived here inside this palace.
And when was it founded? In what year?
In actually 1446.
So it dates back that long.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, can you imagine it? Because they have actually creativity to build this area. And can you imagine how they built this, the wide and the biggest area that we have here inside the At-Turaif? Because we have a highest place inside this palace. And also we have 7 units,
Okay.
actually. And each unit, it's used for different things.
So can you explain what those are?
Yeah, I will explain it. So we are heading now to the first unit. We have here first and also the second unit for the reception area and for the employees who worked with the imam at that time. So they meet the people who they are visited the imam, who wants to visit the imam, and to discuss with them about their needs, about what they have to, what they want to for them.
Okay. Because the imam was both the religious ruler as well as the political ruler, no?
Yeah, that's why we used imam instead of the king in that time.
Okay.
But nowadays, because we have the great unification and the kingdom, we changed the imam into the king.
Okay. But he's still the main religious and political figure.
Of course, we still have it, but we changed the imam into the religious man who he has the specific role in religious.
Okay.
But the king, he's the ruler in these days, actually.
Okay. And everything was made from mud brick?
Yeah, because actually Riyadh, it's a desert area, or this area, Diriyah, it's a desert area. And we use the materials that are available here, which they are mud bricks, straw, and they mix together to make the as you see, these strong walls.
It's amazing.
And do you know what? Why we use actually the mud bricks inside this area? Because when you go inside the houses, you'll feel it's cool, as you see here.
Yeah.
It's a cool area, and even if it's hot in that time, they use the water to throw it in the wall. Can you imagine? Yeah, they were creative actually.
It's so beautiful.
And I think you recognize the triangles. We actually have different sizes of the triangles, small size and tall size. These triangles they used for ventilation, for lighting, and some different ways. So that's why you can see we have a lot of these designs in our traditional houses. Yeah.
Wow. And is the areas where there's new brick, that's to signify what's been restored, and the old mud bricks is what with the original ruins?
Yes, that's true. You can see that we have here some different parts. We have the old part and we have the new parts.
That's amazing. So this would have been, we've been walking through a street.
It's actually, we are walking inside the palace.
Oh, we're still inside the palace.
And
okay.
the right and the left side, we have the offices and the building for the employees who worked with the imam.
And what was the name of the palace?
Salwa Palace.
What does that mean?
It's actually, people, they think it's a name of a woman, but actually it's not the name of woman. They named this area as a Salwa because the meaning of this name is when you heading inside this palace, you will feel like you are happy. And because it's the spacious inside the palace, you will feel the comfort also.
Wow.
So this is the highest area that we have inside the palace. Can you imagine it was 3 floors?
It's unbelievable.
And the highest of this place, it's around 19 meters.
Wow. And what was this space used for, do you think?
Yes, it's a good question. This place is used for people who wants to meet the imam or the king at that time. They can meet him here in this site. And it was 3 floors. So why it was 3 floors? Because the capacity of the area, when it's not enough for the people, they can move into a second floor or to the 3rd floor. And the imam, he always moving to the 2nd floor, to the 3rd floor to meet all his people. And one of our projects, we have like South Park, is from that side. And you can see we have a lot of palm trees because from one of our vision and one of our projects, we will invest 2.5 million palm trees.
Wow.
In Riyadh. to make it a green area.
And would this area have been surrounded by palm trees back when the Al Saud family was here?
Actually, this area was green, like oasis,
Okay.
since before like 400. But of course, after so many years, the area has become dry.
Wow.
But now we are focusing to renew it and make it as oasis. This is the view of the palace. At that time, we had a
Amazing.
treasury, as you see the surrounded building.
So this would be the treasury?
Yeah, this is the treasury for this area, actually, or for the country.
Wow.
Yeah, and at that time we had a shelter, and it's belonged for Mudi bint Sultan. She's a woman, and she was the one of the supporter for her husband to make or to establish actually the first Saudi state.
Wow. And so, and was she in charge of the treasury, a woman?
Not the treasury, actually the shelter.
Oh, okay, the
Yeah.
shelter.
And the shelter is connected with the mosque at that time.
Okay. But she was very influential even back then.
Yeah, of course. So we still actually inside the palace, and this is the walkways to move into another part of the palace. And we are
Okay.
going to see the school. Our schools made or designed as this way. So you can see this is the pillars because we had 2 floors in that time. So we can see that staircase on the right side, and these pillars for support to the rooftop.
Okay. And do you know what ages people were educated until?
We are not sure, but of course the education is for everyone, for like children to the middle ages, and also for the old people.
Wow.
They used to educate like religious education and also mathematics, physics.
So it was an intellectual center as
Yes.
well as a political and religious center.
Yes. And there's something interesting. Do you know what Bujeri or Diriyah? It was the main center for education as a university at that time.
Wow.
Yeah, everyone from the Arabian Gulf, they come from different parts to learn from here. Can you guess this area used for what in that time?
It also has pillars.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that it was a mosque.
Yeah, that's true. And this is al-mihrab. Al-mihrab used to know the direction of Qibla. So the imam, he was stand this side and his people behind him.
Amazing. And it was next to the school. That's why I guessed a mosque.
Yes. Do you know the school is connected with the canal from the mosque to the school to when they have or they don't have the time to wash themselves inside the mosque, they can start from the school, then they move to the mosque to start praying.
Okay.
This one is the gallery of Diriyah. You will discover here the history of Diriyah and the first Saudi state still today.
So this is one of how many museums that you have on the site?
We have around 5 museums inside the site.
Okay.
And they are open for the visitors when they visit us.
So this is the museum about the royal family?
Yes, actually, this museum is about the first Saudi state, but before actually the first Saudi state established till today, the unification of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
And actually, this museum is about story. So I will give you a special story about our history. And this is one the royal family tree. You can see the brown circles, the people who lived in the first Saudi state. And actually, Manal Al he is the father of the royal family. To the Imam Muhammad bin Saud, who established the first Saudi state. After his wife, Mudi, that I told you before, she supported him to establish actually the first Saudi state.
Amazing.
And at that time, we had 4 kings. Started from Imam Muhammad bin Saud to the Imam Abdul Aziz, the son of Imam Muhammad bin Saud. And Imam Abdul Aziz, he's the one who established At-Turaif and the palace, the Salwa Palace, to become as the ruling center at that time.
Okay.
And the amazing story that I have for you is for Imam Abdullah or Imam Saud the Great. Why he called the Saud the Great? Actually, in his time, he had a huge expansion. As you see from this green area, it's the expansion that's happened in his time. From, you can see the border of the north to the south, and also the Hijaz. So he takes also Qatar and some different parts of the Arabian Gulf. So that's why they called him great. So
You can see also here we have the coins that they use it in that time. They are local and they are from France and Austria. And this is the picture for the Imam Abdullah bin Saud, the last actually Imam in the first Saudi state. So after him in 1818, it was the destruction of the first Saudi state after Ottoman empires when they surrounded the Diriyah for around 6 months. He gave them himself that he told them, I will give you myself to leave my country in safe after the 6 months. But then after that agreement, it was the destruction of the first Saudi state. But of course, we didn't stop in that time. After 6 years, in 1824, Imam Turki bin Abdullah, with his sword, his friend actually sword, we call it an ajrab because it's rusted on the blade. So that's why they call it an ajrab, because he didn't have the materials or the tools to clean it at that time. And this sword, he actually wrote a lot of poems about the sword because he was one of the supporters to him in that time to actually establish the second Saudi state. And he moved from Diriyah to Riyadh. Okay. And after him, the third Saudi state, which is the unification of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. People, they are actually guessing how we had this great unification at that time. King Abdulaziz, his sister Noura, she told him, we want our country back. So we want to back to our country because they were in Kuwait. When she said that, he said, وَأَنَا أَخُو نُورَ, which means I'm the brother of Noura. And we are still use this sentence till today. It's the famous sentence that we use it from that time till today. He came into Riyadh and he took Riyadh from the people who lived here, and he sent a letter for his father, Imam Abdurrahman, come here, the Riyadh is for us. Imam Abdurrahman, he came into Riyadh and he hosted him and he told him, Riyadh is for you and the kingdom is for you. He said, no, you deserve to be the king for this area. And after that, he became the king of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and he unified the kingdom in 1932. This is the amazing story about the unification of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And as you asked me about the royal family tree, this is the royal family tree with women or the royal or crown prince and princess. We have actually 7,000 people inside this royal family tree. It's the biggest royal family tree in the world.
Incredible.
And it started from Manal Al, the father of the royal family, to the top, His Majesty King Salman, and in the left side, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the MBS. As you see, this is our doors or architecture, or our traditional doors.
This is again the Najd architecture.
Yes. This is a Grand Mosque, the biggest mosque in the Arabian Gulf before, in the first Saudi state. And actually it's designed at the 3 floors. The first floor when it's raining, and this floor when the weather is very cold, and this is the top or the rooftop of this area. And I have a question for you.
Yes.
Can you guess why they designed this part of the mosques as this way? That way, it's surrounded?
Surrounded? No, I was going to guess that it's facing Mecca, but I don't know if that's why they designed it this way.
Actually, it's for the echo.
Oh,
That time
for
when
the
the
echo.
imam, when the imam pray, they can hear his voice as well.
Amazing. Again, you were saying they were very smart about their architecture.
And from this rooftop, you can see the most beautiful view of this area.
Wow.
You can see the neighborhood. We have like Bujeri. This is another district of Diriyah. We will have some different projects for it. We will have, as I told you before, the international and local restaurants, hotels, and different projects that we will have, inshallah, for the vision.
Amazing. And you can see Riyadh in the distance.
Yeah, you can see the past and the future there.
Yeah.
Or the present also.
The past, the present, and the future.
Yes.
All in one view.
So, as I told you before, this is the biggest Grand Mosque, but this one is the example. The Grand Mosque is actually expanded that time till the last pillar, as you see there. But these, the ruins of the Grand Mosque after the Ottoman empires and the destruction that happened in the first Saudi state.
Amazing. And when did the excavations of At-Turaif start?
It's actually in 1998, after the King Salman, since he was the crown prince of Riyadh, he ordered to start to protect this area and to start to develop it.
I think we were going to go and visit somebody who was involved in the heritage restoration.
Oh, yes.
Your colleague, no?
Yeah, my colleague George, she will do her great job to show you our materials to build our old houses and traditional houses in that time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Manal, thank you so much. This has been a real treat.
Anytime, anytime. It's my pleasure to see you here today.
Najib, thank you so much for meeting me here at At-Turaif. It's really exciting to get to meet you and to hear about the project. Can you explain to me how you got involved in this project?
First of all, thank you for coming. It's our pleasure to introduce you to our heritage and our roots. Since I was young, I was interested in heritage based on being surrounded by the elder people in my family. So we used to go to the old traditional places, part of my hometown. At my mid-year, me growing up, I visited an archaeological sites in Jubba, north of Saudi Arabia, and I saw an engraving. And back then, the heritage wasn't something that everybody was interested in business-wise, let's say. So since I saw this engraving, I actually got inspired to specifically start studying things related to archaeology. And also, since I was very young, I'm a nerd. So I used to watch lots of National Geographic documentary, Discovery Channel, History Channel. So based on that, once I saw that engraving, I noticed that this is something special and decided to actually specialize and specify in urban restoration. So I moved to Italy, Milano, and I graduated 2019. And then my job was actually ready for me when I went back home, because the Diriyah project started 2017 and what was launched 2018-19. So what I'm doing here is actually an honor. I'm giving back to my country because my country was giving us a lot since we were young. So that's why I really love it here.
And Diriyah is a very special project. There's not been a lot of archaeology work done on mud heritage sites. So in some ways you're innovating around how to restore here. Can you explain what this project means to you?
This project doesn't only mean to me, it has, let's say, a universal dialogue and a global conversation and potential to showcase human psychology 101. So it's a relationship between man and the geography that surrounds him. If we speak about before 300 years, when the first Saudi state was actually established within these lands, so it was the starting point to launch the unity of our lands, let's say. But even before that and after that, this territory is very important, because starting from Wadi Hanifa, it's 120 to 170 kilometers north, heading south, tilted a little bit towards east. So there is a couple and multiple settlements, and Diriyah is one of them. So basically, people settled here. They built the defense architecture to protect themselves, to create the shelters. Then they actually grew the resources, the farms, and then they mastered the water system and water channeling. And as you can see, while we are doing the development and while we are digging these trenches, we are actually finding archaeology. So it's a city under the city. So it has a very interesting layering. looking up towards the sky and how people actually mapped the sky and created the what do you call it, the calendars, seasonal calendars. From these calendars, they used to do specific agricultural decisions. So based on this star and this rising or setting, they do this decision making, even their daily activities. So for me, I see it amazing, and I'm honored actually to be here.
And where are we right now in the scheme of At-Turaif? I mean, this is an area that's not yet been fully excavated. The visitors usually don't get to come and see because it's still under archaeological excavation, no?
Yes, yes.
So can you explain
Yeah.
to us what we're looking at and where we are?
Yeah, actually, this palace is at the edge of At-Turaif. So as you can see, the height of the walls and the depth of the walls, this shows that is an important place. What is interesting for myself, the different typologies of building, because once people, they see mud or stone, they think that is simple materials, but how it is actually fermented and worked with, because you can, or for example, you can see rammed earth, so it's a little bit compressed, and you can see cob technology here, and also how the stones are actually organized. You can see them in horizontal, and sometimes within the same area you can see it vertical to distribute the loads. So the stone mainly is the stone that is located within this territory. It's limestone. Usually they put it at the foundation of the buildings to protect these palaces and houses from water, because the main problem that could interfere with the earth building is humidity. So more or less this palace has potential, and we are just starting.
So can I ask you one last question? I would love to know what the opening of Saudi Arabia and the bringing of tourism into the country means to you. How does it represent new opportunities for women?
Actually, for us females, these days are, let's say, it's the golden era. But this was, since the beginning, was the behavior of this territory, starting, let's say, from the caravan trails. So Saudi Arabia, historically and now, was always open for different cultures and different mentalities and different even religions. And what we are doing now is we are reviving our, let's say, glory.
Niju, thank you so much for taking me through this and explaining some of your work. It was really a pleasure.
No, thank you, because you're giving me this opportunity to showcase my country and this amazing project to be. And I would love to show you one of my favorite spots here in At-Turaif. Shall I take you to?
I would love that. I will follow you.
No, after you.
What a treat to be able to work in a place like this.
I agree, you are absolutely right. Wait until you see the escarpment. The thing that I love about these buildings, seriously, they're majestic yet very humble.
That is beautifully said, you're right. Oh my gosh.
So as you can see, this is Al-Bujayri, and then there is, just be careful, and then there is the farms with the resources, and then you can see the new Riyadh and the development to be, and the moon.
That's extraordinary.
Thank you.
Really beautiful.
You have seen and learned about At-Turaif and Diriyah. I want to now share with you the most ambitious project taking place in the kingdom today, called NEOM. NEOM is located in the northwest of Saudi Arabia. It is a futuristic, sustainable city being built at the edge of the Red Sea from scratch. I sat down with Anas Asiri, planning specialist at NEOM, to discuss these plans further.
Enas, thank you so much for joining me here today. I'm very excited to talk to you about NEOM. Will you begin by just telling us what is NEOM?
So NEOM is the most ambitious project in Saudi Arabia, which is 5,000 kilometers, which the size of Belgium. It's a very ambitious project, which contains so many, like the line, the Trojena and Oxagon, it will be those projects. It is really ambitious and have so many things to do for the tourist and for everyone who want to visit.
So NEOM itself is really, I've heard it referred to as a country within a country, because it will have these cities, the futuristic, the line that you spoke about, and I want to hear a little bit more about, but 95% of the whole area will be nature preserve. So I know there you can go into the desert, you can go into the mountains, you're on the coast of the Red Sea. Tell me about the line, because that's a really exciting brand new city being built from scratch with a different idea. It's built in one long, is it 170 kilometers line?
Yes, exactly. So it is 170 kilometers, which is we will build like 3 layers on it, and it will be the hyperloop. It will take you from the beginning to the end with 20 minutes, which is a really ambitious project itself. So it is have different layers and have different. It will be green and it will be a port also. So it's really different mix of things, and we really care about nature. So how we can take those and to make it in one project, it's really ambitious. So we have like also the mountains, and we have also the deserts and the sea. So we have the Red Sea. We have also the Wadi Tayyib Ism, which is really a great area to hike and to have so many activities there. And we have also a Catalina Plain, and everyone wants to visit. They will have every day something to do with snorkeling, like hike activities, even in the desert. So we have different activity to do within NEOM. And also we want to have everyone to touch the nature more and to have something to do with the nature and to explore the untouched city.
Okay, so from what I understand, to make all of this possible, you've brought together people from all over the world who are top of their field, including people from the Great Barrier Reef in Australia who are working on the coral reefs outside of NEOM, in the Red Sea, and trying to figure out how it is that they survive in high temperatures, and maybe to see if they can extract something so that they can revive coral reefs around the world. You've brought in the top snowmakers from all over the world to figure out skiing in NEOM, so people will be able to spend time in the desert, they'll be able to spend time snorkeling in the Red Sea, but also skiing. So I imagine you expect that tourists will come from all over the world to see this. And what do you think, because Saudi has been closed for so long, what do you think people will take away from a visit to NEOM?
It is, especially in NEOM, it's untouched like city, and they will listen to unheard stories. So they have we have the future, but also we not forget the past. We have very long history of history there in NEOM. We have the Medine, and we have so many, the Lithiani, we have so many culture in there, and people will explore it. We have the culture, the past, and we have the future. So everyone wants to visit NEOM. They will have like exposure of all the things in one, and also who they are, the people. They will listen to like told stories with our tour guides and with the locals. So they will enjoy every part of NEOM and in every activity.
Many thanks to Jerry, Reem, Manal, and Enas for sharing all that is to come in Diriyah and NEOM. It's astounding to see how Saudi heritage sites are transforming into cities of the future through cutting-edge technology and sustainability. I have always been a proponent of traveling to a place because of what it has to offer at that particular time. And now is undoubtedly the time to visit Saudi Arabia. In many ways, visiting the country is a journey through time. Alula and At-Turaif bring us back to some of the world's oldest and greatest civilizations. Then, through High Home and Madras Adidira and Turquoise Mountain, we appreciate modern Saudi home, life, art, and social reform. And Diriyah and Neom put us on the cusp of the future. I hope you enjoyed going through this journey with us, through the past, the present, and the future of Saudi Arabia. The kingdom, as you can see, is in a period of rapid transformation. It will be a very different place by 2030. So visiting Saudi Arabia now is an opportunity to witness history and to marvel at its futuristic development. Thinking back to my first visit to Saudi Arabia 5 years ago, I am amazed by the historic preservation, cultural transformation, and archaeological innovation that has occurred in only 5 years. And I am excited to continue to visit and to witness change firsthand. I hope you will join me.